Slowly, over the last 3 centuries, technology has replaced manpower, muscle power. Before that time, muscle power, both of men and animals, were the primary way that energy was used to create wealth. In the main, that wealth was food and clothing, and the excess went to create the churches and governments that existed. Starting roughly around 1700, machines began to replace muscle power. That process is not complete. Maybe it never will be. But in most jobs, machines began to do the work that once only men could do. Since 1900, that process has increased, and since the invention of computers, it has accelerated. Now there is talk of machines, automation, destroying 80% of jobs within decades. A world in which 80% of men would be not only unemployed, but unemployable. Recently, there has been a push by people such as Mark Zuckerberg and Bill Gates that computers and robots will take away jobs, so the answer is a universal basic income, whereby everyone gets a basic income whether they have a job or not. Now, this idea is not new. It's been around since at least the 1800s, but it has always been viewed as a utopian ideal, not as something that would work in the real world. But if machines do the work and generate the wealth, then why can't people simply get an income and relax? Before I answer that, I want to point out a problem with the basic idea that automation will destroy 80% of jobs. Firstly, it isn't coincidence that Mark Zuckerberg and Bill Gates are raising this as an issue. If a robot or a computer program replaces you in your job, you have been screwed, but they have gotten richer. They profit from a world with more automation. In other words, they are soliciting for work, and that fact should never be ignored. However, that does not mean that they are wrong. The simple truth is that we are all more or less accepting that automation will destroy jobs. We are just uncertain about which ones and how bad that disruption will be. Will it be more of the same, or will it be catastrophic? We don't know. But maybe we should be thinking about both possibilities. Now let us assume that the future job situation is catastrophic and 80% of men are unemployed and unemployable. That future is unsustainable and will lead to a civilizational collapse. Now people may think I'm jumping the gun, but I will use ancient Rome as an example. There were 2 Roman states, the Republic and the Empire, but we have been to the moon and we still marvel at what they achieved. But it shouldn't be forgotten that both suffered crises that led to their collapse. The crisis of the Republic was political, and it led to a political solution. The Republic ended, and the Empire came into existence. However, the crisis that ended the Empire also ended its civilization. The crisis of the Republic was created by slaves. The conquest of the Republic meant that free workers, citizens of the Republic, were replaced by free labour, slaves. However, a world in which only 20% of people have jobs means that we have a new form of feudalism. The empire tried to solve its problems by creating a form of feudalism. It failed because the central administration and new feudal lords had nothing in common and worked against each other. Here we would have both situations at one and the same time. In fact, it would be worse because the unemployed have no reason to be loyal to either. So now we have 3 groups who hate and despise each other, and there can be no compromise because no one has anything that they can compromise with, because everyone wants the same thing: money. Everyone loses, and there can never be any economic downturn because no one can afford it. We will be left with the super rich who can do as they please, a government that only exists as a form of peacekeeper or for peace enforcer, and everyone else who really doesn't serve any purpose at all. How long is such a society sustainable? The age of automation is not some utopian paradise where everyone has unlimited free time and spending money. It's a living nightmare. If such a future looks like existing, it would be better to smash the machines before we end up getting smashed.